Hello everyone. You are watching a snippet of Countdown June 29, 2023. Today is Thursday. See the full version on Patreon. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. And now to the main topic. The question, where were you for 8 years, is no longer relevant. Where were you from June 23 to June 24? This is now the main question of the latest cave history. The failure of the Prigogine rebellion and the first repressions, as expected, did not cause any discontent among the deep people. Because there are no people, but there are a lot of conformists who will not bite the feeding hand. The state employees on whom Putin relies are like fish in an aquarium, who do not care whose hand gives them food. Putin, well, he has been feeding them for a long time. Mishustin, also normal. Prigogine, the brainless fish don't mind either. They don't have a society. They live in packs, colonies. And if the boss swims in their midst, then he must be big, toothy and threatening. It is desirable to look like a terrible shark. And if he loses his grip, speed, or even hides from danger, then what kind of predator and leader is he after that? With Putin there was an incident of zeroing. Prigozhin just lightly tapped on his bunker with a sledgehammer, and did not even break through the wall, and the bald head immediately disappeared, heaping full pants. But the egg-headed political technologists told him, the furry people expect accessibility, tactility from you. They want to feel the king. Prigozhin was groped in Rostov in such a way that they were already ready to raise him to the throne. And now that the danger of a rebellion has passed, Putin began to flirt with the military, hefty, reward them, stroke them, meet with Kadyrov, take selfies and rush around the regions. True, he came to Derbent, after all, a double. But no quarantine. He arrived and merged with the crowd, kissing and taking pictures, although until recently he kept the military correspondents in quarantine for 2 weeks before meeting with his carcass. And all because the rat met with the military corps in person, and in Dagestan the night Mariupol Putlo imitator toured. On the other hand, the king must show strength and steadfastness, extract the punishing axe and cut off all the diseased members of the cave organism. In his speech, Putin has already complained about how treacherous the cook turned out to be. He was allowed not only to the kitchen with food, but also supplied with large state money, and he swung at the sacred, at the royal baldness. By the way, it was Prigozhin who was preparing the Russia-Africa summit, which is to be held on July 27 to 28. According to several African diplomats, Prigozhin has always represented Russian interests on the continent. What will happen now? No one understands. Russian diplomats say nothing. The weakening of Prigozhin and the departure of PMC Wagner can significantly change the situation on the African continent. The African assets of the rebellious chef are already being handed over to whoever needs them. Wagner commanders are being arrested in Syria. The PMC itself will also be captured and handed over to a loyal group of people. And the Concord Group's Telegram channels are still pending. Most of the channels have already changed jurisdiction and binding to the SIM numbers of African countries. Not far off is the capture of the famous troll factory, or even its disbandment. In any case, the seizure of all Prigozhin's, candle factories, and other schematic almshouses is in full swing. Watch the full story on Patreon. Become our patrons now and look further in this program. Putin started purges. Several generals are arrested for disloyalty during the mutiny. Among them is General Surovikin. Putin's power has weakened after an attempted armed rebellion by Wagner PMC mercenaries, US President Joe Biden said. And former British Prime Minister Liz Truss called on the government to develop a plan in case the Putin regime collapses. Russia's reputation continues to drift towards universal evil. The Czech government has recognized the Russian Federation as a direct threat to the country. The rebellious weekend almost sledgehammered the ruble, which, for the sake of survival, immediately held its breath and sank. At the auction on Thursday, June 29, the dollar rose to 87.5 rubles. And this is the highest value since the end of March 2022. The deficit of the Federal Treasury reached 3.9 trillion rubles, or 134% of the amount included in the budget law. At the same time, spending jumped by 26%, of which almost a third are classified articles. The war rakes everything clean, threatening to strip the population to the bone. The government is preparing to raise the tax for individuals by 30%. The corpses of pigs were thrown onto the shore of the beach in Sukhumi. Like a fiery hello to the non-wielders and Neprikemish from the explosives of the Kakhovka hydroelectric power station. And that is all. See the full version of the program on the Patreon resource. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. I hugged everyone. Meet tomorrow on Friday Live. Glory to Ukraine.